How to go to terminal? Yeah, just go to applications, system. No.
Applications,
Applications, system, and terminal.
system tools.
Okay, I have done step number 1 for you. That is, I have installed Hadoop for you. Okay,
Okay.
so that you don't have to download the whole thing again. Now, just see if I have downloaded everything correctly for you. So now, what you need to do is RPM command. So I have
Okay. This one.
okay. Anytime you guys don't have any, you're not clear with what we are doing. What do you call? Just ask me. Now, this is what I am doing in the first command. I am installing Hadoop for you, but we haven't configured it. Okay. So, in the first step, all we are trying to do is I have just installed it for you. Step two, we are trying to make sure that just to see if the packages are correctly installed or not. So, first one I have done. In step number two, I am doing RPM QL Hadoop point 20.conf.sudo. That means you're just verifying if the installation has happened or not. So can you run this command? You won't be able to paste it unless you have Linux VMware tools, but you can minimize it and basically run them side by side. Or if you want, I can keep on telling you the command and you just follow it.
Okay. RPM minus QL,
Yes.
and after that Hadoop, right?
Yeah, Hadoop. Okay. I'll dictate it for you. Okay, so that you don't have to always shuffle your screens.
It doesn't come by tab.
It won't come. This won't come. So RPM hyphen QL Hadoop point 20 hyphen conf CUNF
CUNF.
hyphen sudo
Okay.
PSE
Okay. UDO.
Okay. Now, when you run this command, this tells you that yeah, these following files are installed for Hadoop. So don't worry about it. Basically, Hadoop is in right now. Okay.
Here, Ravi, what does command do? This sudo yum install. So see, it installs everything. Yep.
Yeah. So basically, see, in Windows you have exe files to run, right? You just click and
Right.
install. In Unix, you'll have something like a yum is a utility which basically installs your softwares, and there is a repository already set up somewhere on the internet. All you need to do is sudo yum install and give the software name, and that's how it installs the software. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, let's say we want to install a
But
telnet
does it?
utility. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but doesn't ask for any prompts or doesn't ask for any inputs if you want to install this particular package.
No, it doesn't, because that's all. See, assuming that Sagar wants to give a new installation to people, okay, he can go to the repository and store this file, and whenever somebody accesses it through the repository, anybody can just install it. Let me give you an example. Can you go to your command prompt
Okay.
on
Yeah,
the
I'm
VMware?
here.
Can you type telnet?
Right.
TELNET.
Telnet.
Yeah, enter.
Right.
So it's not there, right?
That's not installed.
Great. Now you do sudo yum install
Sudo yum install
telnet
password.
training.
Okay. I thought it was asking for root password. Okay. Okay. Now I'll try telnet. It's working.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you basically just install the configuration from Apache and just install this using yum in that first command, right?
Yeah, so there was nothing on our machine. I just ran the first command and it automatically goes to the repository and installs it for me. It's a utility that does it from command line for you. Instead of clicking a exe, you can directly just say sudo yum install software and you'll be done. See, if you saw in telnet, there was nothing, right? There was no telnet at all. All you say is sudo yum telnet and you are done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, all I did is I said sudo yum install Hadoop with this particular configuration that Cloudera has given, and it got installed for me.
Yep.
Yeah, so everything is installed for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to the next command now. So in the next command, what I'm doing is I'm formatting the name node. Formatting the name node means I'm just cleaning up the name node. Okay. Just to be sure that before I start a new whole setup, I want to be sure that everything is good. So just do sudo u sudo -u hdfs HDFS name node format.
HDFS.
Space HDFS. No, there are two HDFSs.
Name node.
There are two HDFSs.
Okay, go 2 times.
Yeah.
It's giving some shutdown message for me.
Yes. So basically, what you're doing is you are
Yep.
clearing your name node, and there was a service running. It is shutting down, cleaning up everything, and it is just like a new thing right now. Okay.
So you use this or frequently to bring down nodes, or is it just
No,
to
this is the
reset
first
everything?
time. This is the first time to reset everything. Now, see, first time I have installed Hadoop for you guys. That's why when you restart your machine, some Hadoop services will start. So that's why we'll first shut down those services and go from beginning. Okay. So see, I have installed Hadoop for you, but I haven't set it up for you. You understand the difference between them, right?
Yep.
So right now we formatted and we are all set to set Hadoop up for us to work. Clear? Okay. Yeah. So now go to the next step.
There's some loop command away.
Yeah. So it's for you're stopping all the services that belong to Hadoop.
Ravi,
Huh?
what is sudo? This sudo command, I mean, is going to format that particular file system, HDFS file system.
Yeah, so the idea here is see, when you say sudo -u, you're saying sudo. Now, when you install Hadoop, there are two users that get created in on your Linux box that are HDFS and MapRead, MAPRED, MapRead. Okay. So what you're doing is you're saying sudo -u HDFS. That means, hey, I want to format my name node and consider me as a super user called HDFS for Hadoop, and you're formatting it. Now, all you're trying to do is you're saying format my name node, and I have the authority to format because I am user HDFS, who's the root user on Hadoop. Clear? Now let's stop all the existing services.
You want me to create files?
No, you just read this.
Such.
Yeah.
Okay, just for which one? For I.
No. It is you have run it from the command prompt only. Don't make a
Sure.
file. You just have to run it from the command line. It'll work.
Okay. What should I write for?
For
I.
no.
For service in
For service, okay. I'll dictate it for you. Don't look at it. You'll get confused. Yeah. For service in /etc /init init.d /Hadoop HADOOP hyphen HDFS. No, sorry. Hadoop. Delete the HDFS and
Star.
say star. Yeah, Hadoop star. Enter.
After that.
Enter.
Okay.
Do do. Enter.
Okay.
Sudo space $service stop stop
done.
done done done.
This command is looking for anything running with name called Hadoop within init.d folder.
Exactly, absolutely. Anything that
And-
is running with Hadoop star should
So
be stopped.
any service which has Hadoop in its name is just brought down.
Exactly. Now
Okay.
just press up arrow key. Now replace stop by start. Yeah, 1 minute. Don't press enter. Yeah, okay. And replace Hadoop with Hadoop -HDFS. So replace stop with start. And replace Hadoop star with Hadoop Hadoop HDFS
HDFS
star.
-star.
Yeah, enter. So basically what you're doing is you're starting only the storage services. You don't want any programming right now. So you are starting every service that starts with Hadoop HDFS name on your machine. So it says I am starting this name node, data node, secondary node, everything. Okay.
So it will be starting only the storage services for the Hadoop.
Yeah. So what all storage services we have? We have data node, name node, and secondary name node, right? For programming, it is task tracker and job tracker, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, how do you really verify that everything has properly started? For that, go to HTTP localhost 50070 in your browser.
Does it
No,
this
no,
one
no, no, no,
HTML
no,
view?
no. There is a Firefox browser there. Applications.
Applications.
No, it's okay. In application internet you have it, but okay, you started it. Yeah. Localhost 50070.
Localhost.
50070.
How much?
50070.
50.
So your storage services are up right now. Okay. Now go back to the command prompt.
Live nodes 1.
Yeah. Because it's
Okay.
on a single node, right?
We started the services. We are checking this localhost.
Okay.
And
Can you go to your virtual machine?
now we are
1 minute?
creating.
Just a minute. Just go to your virtual machine. I'll try solving the problem in some way. Just give me a minute. Can you run this command for a minute if you can? So you know it in a minute we'll be able to you'll be able to cut copy paste commands so that you know you are understanding also कि चल क्या रहा है. Can you run this command? I've put on chat for you.
Achha, this yum install.
Just go to your VM and say yum install Adobe Reader. No, R capital. R capital. It is only for
This one.
directory structure. Yeah. ENU. Enter.
Tab is working.
And ENU.
No, it's not working.
No, it will not, because how does it suggest what exactly are you looking for? Enter.
Okay.
You need sudo command
It's
for
like-
this. No, you need to have
some-
sudo. Yeah, you need to be sudo for this. Yeah. So just press up arrow key and add sudo there. It's okay. Go ahead. Yeah, just go to add sudo there. Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, enter. Yeah, can you run this command? I think this should work because we are on CentOS.
Yeah, actually the same command, I think it's working.
You're working. It's working for you.
It just said setting up install process and said no package in there.
Okay, I'm sending you list of commands. Just quickly run it on your. Open this in your browser. What do you call in this thing?
I did it.
No, open it in the browser of your virtual machine so that it's easy
Yeah,
for
I
you.
got it.
You got the commands?
Yeah, I have done it.
So run
Huh.
command number 1. Can't
It says
it?
can't create transaction.
You have to do a sudo.
It
Do a
requires
sudo.
sudo command.
Yeah, just
Sudo.
add sudo. That's not a problem.
Okay, it's done. After
Done?
that,
Yeah, run the next command.
this is second.
Yeah, just do that.
It also requires sudo actually.
Yeah, just add sudo. Yeah.
Some
Done.
is done.
And now just install the
Last one.
number 3. Okay, it'll take a couple of minutes, but now in a minute.
Yeah, it's
Okay, now I am sending across.
We're installing a loop, Ravi.
We are installing.
reader, I
We're
think.
installing a loop here.
No, we are installing Adobe Reader because you will be able to cut copy paste basically. So right now the advantage of this will be you don't have to shuffle between your panel and something. You will be able to directly do it.
Looks like a big file.
Yeah, but it will take time. It will take a couple of minutes. That should not be a problem. Okay, not a problem. We can continue our work
Yeah,
on
it's-
another terminal.
How much is the size of this RPM?
Yeah, that's
I think
okay.
50 MB.
It's 241 MB, but
6.
it's 91 MB. Okay, but 1 minute. Let's start a new terminal and let's continue our job till then, right? Nothing stops us to do that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so go to application settings, applications.
No, I have the second tab.
Yeah, okay. So right now, let's continue with our work. So right now, see what we've done. We've brought our storage service up. Now the next step we have to do is we have to run the PDF. Basically, we have to create a TMP file. So just do this command sudo -u. I'll explain what it does. Sudo -u HDFS Hadoop space Hadoop fs -mkdir -tmp no /tmp. So what you're doing is for Hadoop, you are creating a temp directory inside HDFS. You're not creating this on your local box. Got it? You need to change, you need to basically relax the restrictions on TMP folder. So run the previous command, but you have to change something. So press an up arrow key and change mkdir to chmod space -r space 1777 1777. For Linux it is 777, for Hadoop it is 1777. Okay.
So what is the other?
What is the other in the sense?
What is the fourth digit? Fourth number.
In HDFS, one is basically to say that. So basically, it's like you can read, write, execute that thing, and one is just I exactly don't know why they use one. Let me do this. Let me get back to you on this, because to relax the permissions they use 1777. All right. So right now, what you've done, you've relaxed the permission on TMP. Okay. Now you need to create certain directories. Can we quickly look at where is your Adobe installation? All right. Let's go to the next command.
So what have we created under /tmp?
Okay. I'll show you what you've created. Can you go to Hadoop FS?
CD.
No.
CD.
No. We are on HDFS. We are not on Linux box. So Hadoop FS
Hadoop space
hyphen
FS.
space FS hyphen ls. And can you run this command and put at the end put slash. So now you are seeing what is the root. Yeah, what is the content of the root directory? Enter.
And this is a particular folder /tmp which is available in Hadoop file system.
It is in
No, I
Hadoop
think
file system.
HDFS
Yeah.
is a super group which is assigned to.
No. 1 minute.
No, I mean the /tmp which is available on Linux box. No, one second, let me clarify actually. The /tmp on which is available on Linux is entirely different, and whatever the /tmp that we are talking about that's available in HDFS, that's both are different.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
See, in our training, I told you, right, that Hadoop is a separate file system which is on top of your Linux box. I have just done step number 1 already. That is, so we are on chapter number 2. Step number 1 I've already done. Now let's talk about chapter number 2. Step number 2. In step number 2, what we are trying to do is only verifying whether packages are downloaded properly or not. Got it? In step 3, we are just formatting. Step 4, we are stopping all the services. Step 5, we are restarting only HDFS storage services and we are verifying if everything is good. Then we are creating some directories for Hadoop to work. Okay, but these are Hadoop specific directories. They are not our directories. They are not for our use. It's for Hadoop's use. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. And the point here is, look at HDFS as another storage box on top of a Linux box. So you'll always have to put your data inside HDFS for processing. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. So that's an important point. So when you are creating, and anytime you write a command which starts with Hadoop, that means you're doing it on HDFS. You're not doing on the local box.
What are the sudo command that you're firing? HDFS Hadoop minus hyphen minus
U.
mkdir.
Correct.
So whatever those directories you are creating, those are creating. I mean, we are creating all those directories on Hadoop file system, right? Not
Exactly.
on the Linux.
Yes,
system.
you're not creating on the Linux box. Exactly. Yeah, the best part with this is, with VMware Fusion, is I'll be able to even open this side by side so that you see both of it. So now, in fact, if I'm able to run both together, I think Mac is better here. I think so. Windows, you just cannot do it this way. Anyways, that's not a point. All right. So my CentOS gets up. This command is as good as just now you ran for yourself for Adobe, right? It took some time, right? The first command that we ran is like installing something. In this case, right now you tried installing what do you call Adobe, and it was like few hundred MB. Similarly, Hadoop is around 80 or 90 MB, and that's why I have pre-installed it for you. Okay. Now, after Hadoop is pre-installed, let me quickly look at the command number 2, which tells me whether it has been properly installed or not. So I say rpm -ql. So this tells me that everything is downloaded. Any questions on this?
Yeah, the thing is that when you say sudo yum install Hadoop 0.20 sudo, so does it create any Hadoop user at the operating system level?
Yeah, it does create at the operating system level. The users are called as HDFS and MapReduce, but they operate only on your Hadoop file system. You know the command how to see all the users on a machine?
Right. We do. I mean, we use this one. So we see this /etc slash PASSWD.
Okay. Slash etc slash.
No, no, no. You can just you just do the cat. You can just type the command.
Okay, this one.
Should I will just press it. One sec.
Yeah, see
No,
this.
don't do anything.
Okay, okay. HDFS belongs to the group Hadoop. MapRed belongs to the group.
There's HBase. Okay.
Yeah, so those are other
There's
services that are
HDFS
there.
and
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so as we see this hands-on, you will see that these users will come in play automatically, but you'll always be using MapReduce and MapRed and HDFS.
Each and everything is a separate user, like HDFS, Hadoop, MapReduce.
Yeah, so Hadoop is a
Everything.
group. Hadoop is a group. Hadoop is a group. HDFS is a user. MapRed is a user. See, there is no user called Hadoop here. If you see MapRed, it belongs to group Hadoop.
Hadoop. Okay.
And HDFS, it is Hadoop. Now, see, these are users, but they don't belong to you in any way, because if most of the softwares that get installed on your machine, let's say MySQL is installed, right? So it runs as MySQL user. You're getting the point.
Yep.
So when you install a software on Linux, most of the softwares will create their own user for working. Got it?
Yep.
Yeah. So these are all your users that get created. See, for FTP, the user is called as FTP. So we are done with command number 1. We are done with command number 2. That is this. All right. Now let's go to command number 3, where I say sudo -u HDFS. So I am saying that, hey, I am a super user on, my name is HDFS, and on Hadoop, I want you to format my name node. So this is more like,
Okay.
I want to set up Hadoop properly, freshly right now. So I want you to format everything. Now I'll start the services. But I only want to start the storage services. So right now I am starting the storage services. Any questions?
That's fine. Bro.
So all I have done is I have stopped all the services and I have started the services. Now to verify if my storage services have come up properly or not, localhost :50070 works.
Yep.
So basically the storage services are up, okay, but programming services are not. Now
Clear.
to prove you that programming services are not up, it says it is still not up. And once we will be up, 50030 will start working. Okay. So right now I have just started the what do you call, storage services.
Storage service.
Now let's create a temporary directory. So basically now the next steps we are doing, step 7 and 8, are basically to create some directories for Hadoop to use it. Okay. So these are not, you as a user will not be playing with the directory, but Hadoop needs these directories to work with. Got it? So what I'm saying is, as a super user, please create this directory for me. And then I say, please relax the permissions. And I say sudo 177. I'll tell you what that one is, okay? Now just to verify
There is
if,
a
yeah,
Ravi. There is a -r given before
Yes,
1777.
that was a mistake. Good. So it is chmod hyphen r. That is, you know what is hyphen r, right? Or no?
Yeah, I know.
Can't.
Recursive.
Correct?
It's recursive.
Upendra, you're clear?
Mm-hmm.
You know what is hyphen r, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Now let's create next set of directories. Now this one you've created for Hadoop. You may need some more directories for Hadoop as well as MapReduce to work properly. Okay. Now let's create them. So we say sudo -u hdfs fs mkdir /var. It is Hadoop.
Hadoop.
Okay. So I create this directory. Then I create another directory called varlib. Then I create another directory called Hadoop HDFS. You don't have to worry about too much about these directories because that's what Hadoop uses for its own internal processing, that intermediate data and all that stuff. And I'll say /mapred. Now, after I say mapred, I'll create another directory called cache mapred. And then I'll create another directory called staging. I'll change chmod for the staging directory. So in this step, all you're trying to do is relaxing the permission on Hadoop specific directories. Now I am changing the owner of the directory which is cache mapred till cache mapred. I want to change the owner of this directory and make the owner as mapred and not HDFS.
If you
Yeah,
want to check these directories and the contents of these directories,
yeah,
how to check it?
that's the next command in the PDF. Sudo -u
ls.
Okay.
HDFS Hadoop fs -ls. See, if you just do -ls/, you will see temp and var. Okay. If you want to see what is inside var, you will see lib. In lib, you want to see what is inside, you will see Hadoop HDFS.
There is no directory under cd/var, or it's just
cd/var.
virtual, or just just out of the Hadoop. Um,
Just
just out of.
outside Hadoop,
Yeah.
there is nothing.
Okay.
See, okay, let me show you. Okay. If you do cd var, this is local
Yeah.
box. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I do ls var, this will show me what is inside the local Linux file system. Okay, let me just put it this way. I think let me quickly draw this for you because it's kind of getting confusing for you guys. So this is my Linux file system. Okay, in this I have my directories like
Mvar
/root
opt.
/tmp/var. Okay,
Mhm.
in this, inside this I have another file system inside this. Okay, that's an isolated file system here. Okay, and I'll okay, and this is okay. Now for you to access any file for MapReduce or processing purpose, the file has to go inside this storage. Got it?
Okay.
Right.
Is it making sense or no?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, now when you're doing this, when you're doing here, when I'm running this command, where am I making it? I'm making it inside Hadoop.
HDFS.
inside HDFS.
Okay.
Got it? And that's why you cannot, there is no file called what do you call, if you do ls hyphen l slash where, you will not see anything that tells about lib. Now there is lib, you will say, but if you do where lib, it has so many other files. Got it? So when you're doing where
Praveen,
lib,
yeah.
yeah.
I have one question actually.
Hmm.
What happens on Unix level? We have a different mount point, just like U01, U02, U03. Okay.
Hmm.
Now we'll be having Hadoop. We'll be storing the petabytes of data.
Hmm.
So if I want to dedicate some particular mount points, just like U02, U02, and U03 to Hadoop, and I want only those mount points to be dedicated for the Hadoop, how do I monitor? How do I check it? And how do I verify it?
Fantastic question. Fantastic question.
Because definitely if I'm having the server, I'll be dedicated some mount points to only for Hadoop.
Got it.
Linux will be there only for that will, 2 or 4 or 5 GB max to max. That will be only for the Linux file system. I mean that will be for the root only. But rest of the file system that will be for the Hadoop. That's why. Because if sometimes I want to check one particular file and I have to go for a
Yeah.
Hadoop, which
I'm,
mount point it is.
1 minute.
So
1 minute.
I just want to
I'll do that. Now this setting, okay, this particular setting is where you decide where will you store your data on your local box. See, now in my PPT I showed you that Unix is a file system, right? Now
Yep.
Hadoop is inside it. Basically Hadoop will somewhere get installed, basically stored inside Linux file system only, right?
Yes.
So what you're doing is you are telling it that please reserve where lib Hadoop HDFS cache training DFS data as a directory where all the Hadoop data will logically sit. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So right now we are mapping this. So if you take this particular path, okay, just a minute. If you take this particular path, you won't be able to access it through this thing. See this now, CD. Now I'm when I say CD, I am on the local box. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I go to CD HDFS, ls CD DFS, ls CD data. I cannot go in. Why? Because this is what is. So
Hadoop.
when you logically say Hadoop fs hyphen ls slash,
Data.
this TMP and where are logically appearing here, but hardcore they are stored inside this data directory. Are you able to understand it? Now, as you said that in Linux you have multiple mount points and you want to decide where will I store Hadoop data. Agree?
agree.
Now, this is the place you will say that this is my mount point, and you can have a comma separated list of values. Now, when you're writing where lib HDFS cache HDFS DFS data, this is a local path. You are committing that all the data that I put in Hadoop will physically get stored in this particular folder and nobody will be able to access it.
Okay.
So basically what am I saying is this particular place in my local disk is only reserved for Hadoop. Got it?
Okay.
Understood or not?
Right. Right.
So what you've done is you've said that this directory is only there for Hadoop. Now if you go here in this directory, you see that there is a user called HDFS and then there is a directory called CDDFS. You see data and you'll not be able to see inside what is inside data. Why? Because data is owned by the user called HDFS and this is where all your Hadoop data will get stored on your local box. Not able to understand?
So if we just mount some drive to that, probably create a soft link to that data path, will it just create files there and that will be accessible?
Absolutely.
No, it's pretty much clear actually. But the thing is that it is slash var and something something.
Huh.
But there's first of all, there's a long path. There's the first thing. Second thing, definitely I'll be having a different mount points, just like user one. Instead of this long path, I want to have a small path.
You
Actually,
can
this
have
is the
any
most
path that you
important thing.
want. You can have any path that you want, which can be accessible from the command line. Is good with it.
Okay. So we just configure the XML file, and if you want to install or create these HDFS directories on a separate mount point, we can do that,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Because thing is that probably with the increase in data, we can increase some mount points. We can add some new points. We can add to some storage in this way.
No, Sagar, why will you do that? See, Hadoop is a distributed system. When your data is increasing, just buy new nodes and tell in those nodes where they want to store the data. Why you want to add mount points? You're getting the point. See, if the data is increasing, you will buy new hardware, okay, and you will simply connect it to the Hadoop what do you call system, and tell your new node that you store your data on this particular directory in your folder, and you're done. You don't have to again add any mount point anywhere else, right? So when we do a multi-node cluster setup, you'll understand that clearly, more clearly. Yeah. So far, is it clear as to what Hadoop directories we are sudo hyphen u
Right. Yeah.
hdfs?
Because I'll tell you, Rohil, since I have come from Unix and Oracle background, so what we have is that slash user one, and then we have the Oracle data, and we'll be storing all the data inside that particular directory or on that particular model only. So that's why.
Oh, no, no, no. What I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
that won't be required here. The reason is this.
Yeah.
See, when do you use mount points? When you want another
For
storage to be
storage.
pointed out, right? Right?
Yeah, yeah, if we are falling in shorter space, so we add it, we
Agree?
increase the space of
Agree?
it,
Yes.
right?
You are actually contradicting Hadoop then. Because what is Hadoop? Hadoop is a cluster of machines that are working together. Okay?
Right.
And the biggest benefit of Hadoop is the MapReduce program wants to run on the local box, on the data which is on local, right? Agree?
Right.
On
Right?
data nodes, right?
Right.
On the data node, right? Why will I go for
Right.
mounts? That's the point. See, you can go for mounts. Everything that you are thinking is feasible, but that is a very very poor design. You're getting the point. See, why Hadoop is successful other than the other distributed systems, that there is very less bandwidth usage, and everything is local. So today you buy a new hardware of 1 terabyte of data, store that data locally and run the program locally. If you tell the program to run it on the network on some mount points, you are defeating the purpose of using Hadoop itself. You're getting the point.
Right.
You're not able to understand it. Is it making sense
So
to you guys?
in place of the in place of adding mounts, you're just going to add a physical machine and have the storage on that particular uh, new hardware and
Oops,
add
I
it to
think
the.
I think you guys have forgot the first session, or maybe you guys need to revise it. Let's have it this way. Now let's understand this. Okay, master node. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Now master node has two things here. So this is my slave node, which will have
Have five more points: user one, user two, user three, and user four, and user five. So I want to dedicate only these 5 points to Hadoop, so that they can go ahead and store their data. That's it.
yeah. We'll come to that. That's not a problem. Let's discuss that also. So day one, I have these two guys. Okay. Now remember the data locality principle, that the task tracker will work perfectly in the most optimal way when it finds the same node, right? Now let's take example of the first example that you said. Let's say we want to have a mount point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take example, I have a mount point. No problem. I make a mount point and I can call it anything I want. That nobody stops me from calling it, let's say, user 5. No problem. And you want to store some data here. Agree? right, for processing. Okay. So basically, you're forcing this guy to come outside his machine and read this data and process it, right? This is what you're doing. What you want is this machine. This is a mount point, right? Mount point is a dump file server. Agree? Which has a lot of storage capability. Agree? Yes. And you are trying to convey this guy that please go read this data and process. Why will you want to do that? Is the first question. Fine. Even in your setup, even if you're doing this, still it's not an optimal practice. Why? Because Hadoop, the biggest benefit is that the task tracker works only with the guy who's on his.
Local node.
That is why Hadoop is required. Got it? Now that's one. So tomorrow, if you are buying a new node, as we were talking about just now, Upendra said this. Assume you are buying a new node. Okay, I buy a new node. I simply have to just add this node here. Okay, and on individual data node,
Yeah.
I need to tell it to Hadoop that on this machine store data at maybe something like home, the way we had where and all, home, disk 1, HDFS data, node 1. So basically, this is your local file system where Hadoop will logically, basically physically store the data. Got it? This machine may have same path or different path. It's your wish. And this machine will have same path or different path. It's your wish. Correct?
Right.
Now, what you're trying to say is node 1, node 1, node 1. This 3 will work like one single storage when it appears to the user in HDFS, so that if name node gives me, so now take example, okay? Assuming I have in this machine, I have said the storage is, let's say the storage is 1 terabyte. Okay. I'll take 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte, and logically I will be storing 3 terabytes of data. Why? Because logically the disks appear one to the user. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
That's how HDFS works. Is it making sense?
Yes. So the best practice will be not just add physical storage space, but add a whole node.
You will have to always add a node, because storage, if you are
Yeah.
adding storage, you are just killing
Yeah.
Hadoop's
It's
biggest advantage.
violating your main use of Hadoop. Yes.
Yeah, main use of Hadoop. I mean, what do you call? If you see Oracle, even Hadoop does the same, just that it gives you that configuration parameter to tell you that this is where I'm doing it. And Oracle will not give that because it's a package system and not configured system. It's like a product, right?
Yeah, it's a pure product.
Yeah. And in this case, Hadoop exactly has, it's an open source tool and gives you those configurations to tell you where it is storing the data. That's it. But if you see, the principles are same. Oracle will store that data and will not tell you how it is storing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, yeah, it can give the location, but the internal architecture and the mechanism is quite, I mean, is hidden
Complex,
actually
yeah. It's the
because of
same thing
security
is here. Yeah.
reasons and other kind of.
The same thing is here. If you saw that particular varlib directory, you were not able to access the data folder, right? It's the same principle, yeah.
I mean, you can see the files, but yeah, I mean, you can see the files, but you will not be able to read those files.
Exactly. So I'll tell you one thing you need to remember. When I do Hadoop, in this case, when I do Hadoop fs ls slash, I can see these two, right?
Right.
Correct. These are in HDFS. Basically, they are logically appearing here, but on the hard disk, they are stored in this directory. So to the user, they can see this, but what is really stored is something inside this. Now I cannot do that. But if I do sudo -u hdfs, you cannot do a cd like this. I'll have to basically do maybe a sudo su to just see this data. Now see what these things are. They logically Hadoop is encrypting and putting it here, and it is storing it in an encrypted way, so you don't have to really bother about it. So we are on step number 9, where we created some directories for Hadoop. Okay, and we are just verifying if those directories are created. So now if you see, you are logically accessing this data which is physically stored in a certain way. So these are the directories that you've created for Hadoop. These are not for your use. Okay, these are not for your use. Okay, now when everything is ready for MapReduce, let's start the MapReduce services. So far what we've started is the storage services, and the processing services are not yet started. Clear? And I'll say everything that starts with MapReduce, do sudo service start done. Now if I do this, the processing services are up. Agree?
Starting up.
Yeah.
So right now, if you see, what we've done so far is we installed Hadoop, we formatted it, we set up the storage services, we make them run, we set up the MapReduce services, and we make them run. So right now at this moment, Hadoop is perfectly working on our machine. Agree? Now you need to be able to run your programs. So when everything is done, now you need to run the program, right? So let's first create some input directories where we will give the input. So so far we are here, we created everything, Hadoop is ready. But the real job is not to make Hadoop ready, but the real job is to make your programs work, right? Now what we are trying to do is we are saying, okay, Hadoop is up. Now I am a user called training. I will give you my input and you give me the output. So Hadoop says first you create your own directory where you will give in. See, Hadoop is saying if you want to process some data, you'll have to you'll have to bring the data inside for me. So you say, okay, I'll give you the data. How you will give the data, I'll show you. HDFS, FS, make directory. You are making this directory for yourself. Okay, this is where Hadoop will pick up your data from. Got it?
Okay.
This is your own data that you will be putting it here. So after you create, you want to say that I have created user training inside Hadoop file system. Please make training as the owner for it. So what you've done right now is you've created a directory called user training, and you've made yourself as the owner of it. Okay. Now quickly I'll show you something interesting. Now when I say create a directory called input, that is where your input files will be. This works exactly like Linux. If I say ls/, it takes me to root. Okay. Clear? But if I say Hadoop fsls, it will take me to my current directory, and my current directory in Hadoop is user training. Got it? It's just like Unix. When I am on training, if you see, when I log into Linux, my home directory is home training, right?
Clear.
So when you say Hadoop fsls, it is the current directory that is user training input. If I do this, the output will be same. See this. Got it? User training input. It's the same. So now you've created an input directory, and let's run an example program. But before that, you need to give some input data also, right? So what we are doing is we are putting some data from outside. So I am right now putting some data from localbox to Hadoop. So see, what I'm doing is Hadoop file system put from my local box, that is etc Hadoop conf folder, all the XML files that are there, and I want to push them to input directory. So my source is etc Hadoop conf star.xml, all the XML files that are in this path, and push it to input. I'll show you the output of this thing. Now if I do fs -ls input, so now the files have been transported, basically copied from your local box to your HDFS. So now if you see etc Hadoop, they have been copied. So if I say conf /star.xml, got it? The same files. Got it? So
Yes.
in this command, I copied these files and I put it inside the input folder in Hadoop. Agree?
Okay. So there's a file at the Unix level. So if I want to copy this that particular file to my Hadoop file system, I can use this particular command.
Put
Hadoop fn okay.
Hadoop fs put. Okay. Now anything as user training you're doing, you have all authority to do anything and everything inside user training folder. Okay. So that's why you don't need a sudo. But anything you're doing outside training folder, you always have to say sudo -u hdfs and your command. Got it?
Okay.
See, if I would have done this exact same command and I want to put it inside tmp folder, okay, which is outside my user training, right? Slash means on the root. Agree?
But I think /tmp was also written with Hadoop, right? So it might be copying to /tmp for Hadoop file system only.
It will be copying in Hadoop file system only, but you are running it as a training. You're not running it as a sudo.
Okay.
See, so it will not work. It will say you permission denied. Oh, it worked. Why did we give training the... Okay, we made chmod for the temp. But if you do the same in where, I hope we haven't done where as 1777. It says you permission.
No.
It's copying.
Why? Because you are a user training
Permission.
and you don't have a write access inside where. Clear? So if I was to take the same thing and do something like sudo -u hdfs, this will work. So what I'm trying to say is, as user training, you have certain authority inside user training folder, not outside that. Let's first clean up the mess that we have done. Now I want to delete these files, so I'll say sudo u, okay,
HDFS Hadoop.
Yeah, HDFS Hadoop, okay,
minus
RMR, okay, TMP
/star.xml.
star.xml. Okay, now what it says is no command -rmr. Okay, because the reason is this, I have to say HDFS site. I think this regular expressions don't work on this, maybe. Sudo u hdfs -rmr. Okay, I'll have to do hdfs fs. Yeah, I missed my command. Yeah, my mistake.
Oh, okay.
Star.xml. So it deleted these 3 files. Clear?
Okay.
Right? Now if I want to clean up where, I will say, because I created those just to show you guys. Clear, right?
It says RMR actually.
Yeah, but
RMR, I think.
if you do RMR, it doesn't work. So I'm still finding the solution. What will be the right command? Because if I do RMR, okay. So if I do RM -r, no, it doesn't work. Okay.
What happens if you just do RM? It doesn't take.
It will not take the recursive thing. That's the problem.
No, if you just do RM and remove R.
Yeah, it will work, but it will not do recursive. The point is that.
Okay, okay.
So if you don't put R in respective directories, so for example, if there is a directory Upendra, and inside Upendra there is another folder called Ravi, and you want to delete that file, so you'll have to go to each and every
Yeah,
directory and delete it. Got it, right?
yeah, I got that. I was just wondering if just the remove is working or we just
Oh,
need
no,
to
no,
do
no.
that
It is.
recursive every time.
Yeah. No, remove will work. Remove will work, but it'll do the single directory then. It
Yeah,
will not
yeah,
do
yeah.
recursive.
I was just.
So you understood the access points. You as a user have access to user training and any folder that is relaxed, but otherwise you'll not be able to do anything outside it. Clear? Exactly similar to Linux file system. So now we have our input, which has 3 files. Now let's do this. Let's run a Java program that is already written, which will tell you in this configuration files how many variables are starting with DFS. Okay. Let's first look at it from our eyes and then we see whether the program is right or not. Let's say I want to see each and every file and see if any variable is there that is starting with. So how many of them are, how many of the variables are starting with DFS? Let's look at this. So the file starts here, right? Does this start with DFS, this variable? So there are certain variables that are starting with DFS. Let's see what about in HDFS side. What about code side? Anything starting with DFS? DFS, the name. So somebody's already written a Java program. We just need to run it. We say user bin Hadoop jar. So basically this is a command. In fact, instead of user bin, we can just say Hadoop jar user lib Hadoop examples. So this is a jar file that somebody's already written. Okay. The main class in that jar file is grep. Input is the directory from where the program should pick up the input. Output is the directory where I will write the output. And what I'm looking at as a regular expression is anything that starts with DFS and ends with anything between A to Z or dot should be appearing. What are we trying to do here?
We are trying to find out anything which starts with a DFS or A to Z within the examples.jar file.
No, 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 no. We are running a Java code. The file name is the whole jar file name is Hadoop examples.jar. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the main class inside that jar file is grep. Along with that, we are
Okay.
telling Java that hey, you run your program called grep. The input directory is this, the output directory is this, and what you need to find is anything that starts with DFS. Agree?
Yep.
So you are actually running the program here. Okay?
Okay.
But somebody else has written the program. Following things are compulsory. You have to start with Hadoop. Then you have to say which jar file you want to run. So jar and which jar file. Okay? Then you need to tell what is the main class in the jar file. Everything after that is a parameter that your Java program has to understand what to do with it.
Okay.
So if you are writing a Java program that does not need any parameter at all, so these three will not be there at all. If you write a Java program
So
that needs 10 parameters, you will have to take care of that your program accepts these 10 parameters and differentiates them. Clear?
so there are nothing but yeah. So there are nothing but arguments.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so everything after your main class name, that is grep, is an argument. If you are passing argument, you can pass 0 argument to 100 arguments, but your Java program has to capture them. Okay? Hadoop has nothing to do with it. Now you are running your Hadoop program. Now you see total number of files that needs to be processed. How much?
3.
Basically, we have 3 XML files, right?
Right.
And it has started a job called job 2013. That's like 3rd March, 13th this thing, and 2249 00001. If you refresh the job tracker UI, you will be able to see that the job has started. See, this job is running here. Got it?
Right.
And here the job is in process, and here they will tell you that map is completed by 66%, reduce has not started, and it gives you a lot of information other than this. And here you see that job is still running, so your program ran successfully. Let's look at the output. So the output is in output directory Hadoop fs ls. So there is a directory called output. I'll say output. Output has these three files, one which says whether it was success or failure. So this program was a success.
Success.
If there were any issues, the logs would come here, but there are no issues, and this is where your output is. Okay,
Okay.
when I click this, you see all the variables that start with. So basically this is a program. Let's run one more program where we will say show us everything that starts with Hadoop. Okay,
Hadoop.
okay, there may be nothing that may be starting with Hadoop. Let's run it. The first error it will give you right now is that output directory is already existing, so you need to first clear the output directory. So this is another thing you need to know is if an output directory is existing, Hadoop will throw you an error. Give you error? What it said? So
Already exist.
I'll have to first remove the output directory, or I can choose to give another name to the output directory. Now this will run. Got it? Now we go to see the output, and you see there are 5 records that start with.
I mean, every time we have to specify the new directory or
Yeah, you'll have to make sure that always it's a new directory. I could run exactly the same program without deleting the output directory by saying output underscore output 1, or I can decide the name of the directory or at runtime in Java. So now this will not give an error because I've changed the output directory.
So it's just going to create another output one.
Exactly. So if you see output, instead of that, if you just see this, you will see 3 directories: output, output 1, and input. So we've successfully completed exercise number 2. We go ahead to the next thing right now, which is exercise number 3. These are some basic commands which you've already seen. So Hadoop fsls, what will this do? Tell me.
Is the
This will
directories
list down.
under the Hadoop file system?
Yeah, but which
What do you have to
directory?
specify?
Content of which directory?
Well, it depends. I mean, you have to
I
specify
think
the name of the
Hadoop home.
Right. Yeah.
Not exactly Hadoop home, but user home. That is, you are the user now. So whose home?
Training.
So present current directory is Hadoop file system directory, or
No, the current directory is user
I should.
training. See, you guys created user training, right? For yourself.
Right.
So this will show you content of the current directory. If you do this, or you do user training inside HDFS, the current directory is user/user/training. Got it?
all
Whatever
Hadoop
there
file
are
systems
contents
under
in
slash.
Slash in the sense?
root directory for the Hadoop file system.
Exactly. So if you see user is one of the directory here. So inside user you have training, that's the current directory. Got it?
Right.
Okay.
Now, what if I say Hadoop fs put, what will this do?
Putting this Unix file to the Hadoop file system.
Where will it put it?
This into this one. I mean, into Hadoop file system. This /usr/training, upper slash var
Correct.
of Hadoop.
What if I was to do this? How is this command different from the upper command? Are they same or different?
Same. I
Great.
guess same because slash user slash training is same as the current one.
Exactly. They are exactly the same. So if I do it, it will say the file is already existing. Now I want to see the data in test.txt. Now I want to delete this file. Awesome. So we'll start with class 4. What am I trying to do here?
Creating a directory called
Called-
word count input Hadoop directory.
So what would this directory probably look like? So if what does the name suggest you?
Probably the name of the code or a
Awesome.
job.
Awesome. Yeah. And what does input suggest you at the end? So it's a
Input directory.
Awesome. Now you tell me what am I trying to do here? The next command.
Moving the text file to
Yeah.
word count input.
Right.
Fantastic. So basically I created an input directory for a new program and I'm putting one input file there. What am I doing here?
It's a Unix copy. It has nothing to do with this one. It has nothing to do with Hadoop.
Fantastic. So all I'm doing is I have provided you certain exercises and we are putting it in the workspace file directory. Okay. So if I do home, training, workspace, you will see a folder called word count. Now I go to word count, I see there are 3 Java files. Okay. So one main file, one mapper and one reducer.
Reducer.
So right now it is a Java code which we need to package as a jar and run the code, right? So right now we have Java code which let's say somebody has written, but now we have to make it package like a jar so that we can run it on Hadoop. Okay. So assume I started writing the code. I wrote this code and I am just quickly showing it to you on Eclipse, and this should give you a lot of idea.
What is Eclipse?
Eclipse is like Visual Studio is there for .NET. For Java, you have Eclipse.
Okay, so it's not any application server or something like this?
No, it is just,
Or just an
IDE.
editor?
It's an IDE for it's an editor for Java.
Okay.
So let's see. We are creating a new project called word count. Okay. So I just created a project and I need code for that, right? But I've already
Right.
written that. So if you see,
Right.
we just copied that code and we told Eclipse that take the code from there, home, training, workspace, word count, so that we don't waste time writing the code. Clear?
Okay.
And you have all those 3 files, right? Then, but this code needs some Hadoop libraries. So we will have to go to build path and say, please add those libraries. So I'll go to user, I'll go to lib, and I'll go to Hadoop. So these are just including few files so that your code can run. It's absolutely no rocket science. For your code to run, you may need certain include paths and all. You're just doing that. So you don't have to even worry about that. So if you see, there are errors in this code, right? Because they don't have those libraries. Now I'm adding the libraries, all the errors will disappear. Everything is gone. So you don't need to really worry about. So as a programmer, I wrote the code, I put some libraries. Now I am packaging the code. Okay. So I say, I want to package the code as a what file? I want this to be there and I want this directory. It should be stored in the training folder. Got it? Now if you go and see, so now your developer wrote the code and he packaged everything and he writes the jar file. Now what I do is I say Hadoop jar, right? You remember we used Hadoop jar. Then
Right. The name of the jar file.
the name of the jar file. Okay. Then I say which is my main class. if you go to this, my main method, the starting point
Word.
is in class file word count, public static void main. So this is my starting point. So I need to tell Hadoop that in word count.jar, word count is my main class. Got it?
Okay.
Then I say word count input and word count.
Output.
Got it?
Two directories.
Now in word count, what am I trying to really do is, in the file which we just inserted, wordcount.txt inside Hadoop, we want to see how many words are there for each and every word. Basically, what is the count of each word? You remember the example we saw in the PPT? So you get the count of every word here. Let's validate this, okay? If you see, developers is 2 times. So you can simply go and see get word count input slash word count dot txt. So cloud, this CentOS is developed by core developers. Okay, and you'll have one more developers if this is showing you the full file. Developers, got it? So it's 2 times. Core is 3 times. 1, 2. So this is my input, and this is what output has come through the program. We developed the program, we packaged it as a jar, and we ran the program, and everything worked. Can someone tell me what was Scoop?
A tool for importing or exporting data from between SQL relational databases and HDFS.
All right, so now let's go to exercise number 5. Okay, what we are trying to do in this mini project kind of a thing is, we are importing data from a MySQL database, okay, to HDFS, and we will create a Hive table on top of it to write queries on top of it. So what is Hive?
Database.
No, SQL language, which could be written over, which just converts your SQL code into backend MapReduce.
If you look at our MySQL, this is MySQL database that I've started right now, and we have the database, the DB training DB tables, user log. I say select star from user log. Let's look at the count of the rows. Now our goal is to take this data which is in MySQL database to Hadoop. Okay. Let's write a few
Okay.
commands. So first command, we've already installed Scoop. Now let's look at the databases, list of databases that are there in MySQL. So we say list.
This scoop comes by default with Hadoop.
No, you have to install. You have to
We
install.
need to install.
You need to install it. Yeah. You need to install it. So as I said, when you install Hadoop core, you only get MapReduce and Hadoop HDFS. Everything on top of it has to be installed. I installed it for the VM because you don't have to waste time for the downloads.
You're connecting to the database.
What command am I running?
We are connecting through JDBC.
What command am I issuing on the database? I am trying to view list of databases. Got it?
Right. Right.
Oops.
But why do you need to get the username password as a root user? I mean, we have to.
The
for
MySQL.
we need
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
and MySQL require only root username and password.
No. It is just that we connect it that way, but you can always create your own user. Okay, I think I have messed up
But
some
this-
command. Yeah, go ahead.
But this root user is a OS level user or it's a database user?
It's a database user. See, how do you connect to, let's say, Oracle database? You need a username password,
okay,
right?
okay.
I made
Absolutely.
The command is wrong. So this command is right in the PDF. I ran a wrong command. I added 2 slashes more. So what all databases are there?
You have MySQL test and training DB. So you have test and training DB.
So now let's look at what all tables are there in training DB. We saw there was one table, right?
Got it.
What is the table?
User underscore log.
Exactly. Now we will import data from that table to, we'll import data from that table to HDFS. Okay. So what we say is SQL import, scoop import. Okay. We are connecting to the database now. So what am I doing here? Can somebody tell me?
We're importing the data from the MySQL with help of JDBC connection from the table user underscore log, and the data should be dominated by this slash t in this sense. I think space something.
Yeah. So what am I saying is, see, user log had 2 columns. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start this. So training DB has one table user log. It has 2 columns. Okay. It has 2 columns, right? So what I'm trying to say that when you import this as a flat file to HDFS, the columns should be separated by tab. Now I run this command. So right now you are actually importing data from MySQL database. This is going to be a very, very important part of your job. Tomorrow you may have a customer who says, you know what, we have data in Oracle database. Can you move to HDFS? Scoop is your best friend. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be the solution for any relation database. Now see what it says is weave.
Yep.
Now I say Hadoop fs-ls. So all the data is come from MySQL to HDFS now. Clear?
Sure.
This is going to be very, very important in your job. So you know, this hands-on will always help you to figure out how to do things. Okay.
So when you do it the other way around from HDFS,
You might want to do something. I don't have that command right now handy with me, but you want to do something like this.
okay.
But it will be slightly more this thing. Let me give you the command for
No,
that.
I meant to ask whether we need the table structure and stuff already set up in the data on the database,
Yes, yes, you'll need
or
to. You'll need to because it'll not be able to create. No, it will be able to probably create a table, but database has to be there.
yeah, but even the permissions and stuff, which user this one would be connecting to, and all those stuff will also matter,
Yeah,
right?
you'll have to specify that Opendra on the command line because see, if you have a database and you've given access to a user, let's say Upendra, so when you specify that from the command line, you'll be able to do it with Upendra user. Got it?
Okay.
So because you're specifying the username and this thing for it. Yeah. This is your syntax. Scoop. You have to give argument as connection, manager, username, password, everything, and you'll be done. Got it? I haven't actually come across a way where I mean basically need where I have to basically do this. Okay.
Because my role is kind of ETL. I
Correct.
do in
Yeah.
ETL development and stuff, so I will be looking more into these kind of things,
Yeah.
or
So here is your
those kind of
best.
jobs.
No, no, not a problem. This is the best. This is your best friend. See this. Scoop export connect. You are connecting to a DB and the table name.
Mm-hmm.
Export
Okay.
directory. You need to specify where are you putting the data from. From HDFS, which place, right?
Okay.
Username, password, input fields terminated by the tab character. So right now we have the data inside our HDFS, right? But now what I want is I should be able to query this data also. So we, as Upendra rightly said, that yeah, it's a SQL engine. Hive is a SQL engine on top of your HDFS to query data. Let's put everything in Hive right now. So let's set up Hive right now. Okay. So what we do is we've done the first command. Now what we'll do is we'll create a directory called user hive warehouse. Okay. So this will be all right. What we do is we just give access of TMP to all the users, whoever wants to play with it. So another way to basically give access to everyone. Then what we say is that let training have the control of the Hive folder, and then there is one command you need to run. I'll explain you how Hive is working so that you be sure how you'll be aware of internals also. So just hold for a minute. I'll explain you how Hive works. Okay. Now let's run the commands. So let's say Hive is set up on our machine, and we do Hive. Okay. Now I say show tables. It says there is no tables. Yeah, so you tell me what am I trying to do in this command?
You're creating a table.
What am I doing here?
Creating a table with the two fields, country and the IP address, with the format, with this data type as string, and this row format should be
You're just
declared.
sourcing the file which you moved from SQL, right?
No, no. I haven't
Just
even
the
mentioned the
structure.
file. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
just the structure. Yeah.
Exactly. So I am not even mentioning this file. So Sagar, you are absolutely right that we are just creating a table. It's just creating a structure.
Inside.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I haven't even spoke about files. We'll talk about it later on. So let's say now I have created a table. Let's bring that file. Now you tell me what am I doing here?
Just loading data from that part into the create table which we create.
What is this part?
The directory in which we previously imported data.
The file actually.
Yeah.
Okay, not the directory file. So can you tell me, Sagar, what are we doing in this command?
Created table and loading data in paths. Okay, we are whatever those output file has been created in a slash in user logs. We are trying to import that particular data from that text file into this particular table user
Awesome.
underscore log.
It says there is something wrong.
Should
I
we
think
specify
probably
the
he had to-
.txt extension?
Huh? No.
Is there any extension for that file?
No. The problem is, okay, but let me just see command what I have given in the PDF. This user training
exact
log.
location, or we have to provide exact location.
No, but in that case also, no. User training.
I think user underscore logs is different from what it is there. I don't know if you created logs or log.
It is log. I have made a spelling mistake.
It's very fast.
It's fast, yeah. 50,000 rows is nothing actually. All right, select country, count from user log, group by country. Okay,
It's actually running a
MapReduce
job.
Exactly.
No, I didn't
So
understand.
if you
What
see
is,
the job tracker right now,
Yeah, you can. We have a name anyway, so that should not be a problem. Now this is the URL, right? Yeah.
I haven't understood this. We are firing this particular query on this one, Hive, right?
Yes.
So inside it goes to your Hadoop, and then it searches all your data, right?
Just a minute. So this is the job that you ran.
I just
Yeah, that's okay. So you are with me till this one.
right.
Table was created, right? So table was created. You were here. So first we created a table, right? Then we imported the data.
Explain the above command, the last command that you run, and how it was working. It started with the first map, and then because we have already loaded that records into Hive, right? Those 50,000 records.
Yeah. So tell me, what is your question? So you are clear with we created the table or not?
Yeah, we created a table
And then
we
we
loaded the
loaded the
data.
data, right? Now,
Yeah,
after the
yeah,
data is loaded, you want to run queries on top of it, right?
absolutely right.
Now I ran this query. So what does this query tell?
I'm gonna find out the country and the count of these countries in user logs, group by the country,
Now when I run this,
according to country wise.
yeah, when I run this, why was Hive created? Hive was created that you write your queries and it will get converted to MapReduce job, right?
Oh, right, right, right.
Agree?
Just forgot it. Yeah, agree,
So there is no database, nothing. The idea is that when you run this, it is as good as a Java program. Agree?
agree. So it's going to convert into
Yes. So
MapReduce, and
it
then it's going
is,
to fetch all your
yes,
data.
exactly. So now what it is doing when you say this is it says, okay, fine, let me first digest and see what is the query you're asking. I will convert that to a Java program and then I will run it. Now it has converted to a Java program. This is the program's URL, and it says I will run it here and then give you the output. So this is your, so right now this is the status of the job. It's still running, and finally it will tell you, hey, this is your data. Got it?